Hello everybody and welcome back. Today we will be discussing some more dying declaration. In the last video we discussed the basics of dying declaration, and if you haven't seen that video I will put in a card and it will be popping on the top right corner of the screen right about now. Yup, there it is. Click on the card and go watch that video first. The topic for today is the two kinds of dying declaration mentioned in section 32 clause 1 of the Indian Evidence Act. As we discussed last time, for a statement to be relevant in section 32 clause 1 of the Indian Evidence Act, it should refer either to the cause of death or to a circumstance of the transaction that led to the death. Let's deal with the second part of this statement, that is, any statement referring to the circumstance of transaction leading to death. In this case, it is important to understand that the statement won't be like, "He stabbed me," or "my husband's family tried to burn me for dowry." No, those are the kind of statements which are regarding the cause of death. Those are regarding the actual cause of death. The statements that fall into the second category, that is, statements regarding circumstances of the transaction leading to death, are entirely different. In this case, you have to see where the death happens and where the transaction which led to death started, and then every circumstance in the middle, from the start of that transaction to the ultimate death, can be an independent event, and any statement regarding any of these circumstances would fall under the category of a statement regarding circumstance of transaction leading to death. I know it sounds confusing, but it will clear up by the end of the video. I promise, just keep watching. Furthermore, it is not essential that the person who made this statement regarding the circumstance of a transaction is expecting death or is even suspecting death or is fearful. Also, the circumstance is generally proximate to the death. But in some cases, like cruelty, this definition regarding the transaction before death can be longer, and the transaction can be much longer, and the circumstance can be much longer. But in most cases, it is proximate to death. Let us understand what these statements are with the help of an example. Let's take the example of the case Bakala Narayan Swamy versus King Emperor, which is a Privy Council case and one of the most authoritative cases on these kind of statements, which fall under the second category under section 32 clause 1. Without complicating matters, let's just understand the basic facts of the case. In this case, a person had given a loan to a lady, and he was insistent that she pays her back, whereas she used to just avoid him and not pay back the money. Now one day, she sent a letter asking him to come and get the loan from her town. So he told his wife that, "Hey wife, I've gotten a letter and I have to go get the money that I had lent to this lady a long while ago. So I'm gonna go and fetch that money for you." And then he left to get the money. Now a couple of days later, his body was found in a trunk.
Show me the money.
And in these facts, let's analyze what the transaction of his death was. Let's say that the ultimate event was his death, and the transaction here started with the letter that he got. Anything in between that would be a circumstance of this transaction, like he going to get the money. And if a person makes a statement regarding any of the circumstance, then it will fall under the second category of section 32 clause 1. The statement that he made to his wife regarding the fact that he has gotten a letter and he will go get the money because of that letter is a statement regarding a circumstance of this transaction. So it's very important for you to understand that the ultimate event is death, and you go back and see what the transaction is, how long it is, what are the circumstances that fall in this transaction, and if a person has made a statement regarding any of the circumstances falling in this transaction. If he has made a statement, he or she has made a statement, then that statement will be relevant under section 32 clause 1. In this case, however, there were other circumstantial evidence as well, like statement of the man who made the trunk, discovery of burnt clothing from the lady's house, a retracted confession, etc. But the statement that the husband made to the wife was also relevant as corroborative evidence. It is also important to understand the evidentiary value of these statements which are regarding a circumstance of the transaction. The evidentiary value of the statement which fall in the second category is much lower than a statement regarding a direct cause of death. The statements which are directly regarding a cause of death have much higher evidentiary value, and those are exactly the kind of statements which we will be discussing in the next episode or the next video. So don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you get notified of new videos. Thanks for watching, and if you have any questions or any doubts, leave them in the comments and I'll get back to them as soon as possible. Thank you.